number one, if I did the rate of change is another way to say what? Do y'all know?
Rate of change. Slope.
Slope. That's your slope. Star likes to use rate of change a lot. They like to interchange rate of change and slope a lot. So if I label this and I call this x1, y1, and x2, y2, plugging this into the formula, what would I plug in? What would be my y2? 5 minus 5, and then on the bottom we would have 8 minus 10. So 5 minus 5 is 0. 8 minus 10 is negative 2. Now, if you're deciding if this is 0 or undefined, y'all just enter it in the calculator. Your calculator kindly tells you exactly what it is. Our slope here would just be 0. All right. Still adding in, solving. When y'all get to geometry, the biggest hurdle is this. If you can do this, then you're just worrying about the actual geometry piece. If we're still struggling with this, you now have the algebra you're struggling with and the geometry you're struggling with all at the same time, okay? So, reminder that when you're solving these, focus on one side. So let's focus only on the left side. So on the left side, we're gonna look at our x's. You have a negative 3x, and then you have a positive x. We would get negative 1x, good. So this would be a negative 1x plus 9 equals 7 plus x. All right, what would we put together now?
Then the x on the right side.
The x on the right side with what other x? The negative 1x. Do y'all want to move over the negative one, or the positive one?
Oh.
The positive one? Okay, so how do we move over the positive x?
So just subtract it.
You subtract it, right? So minus x. All right, what's negative 1 minus 1? Negative 2, so that's negative 2x plus 9 equals 7. What would be the last step here? Subtract the 9, good. So this would be negative 2x equals negative 2, and our last step is to divide. All right, so let's divide both sides by negative 2. Our answer here would just be 1. And now we're getting into the x and y intercepts. So we're going to look and identify the x and y intercepts on the graphs. We'll get into identifying it through the equation later, but for now we're just going to do the graphs. All right, so it says the x-intercept is where the function crosses the x-axis, okay? So you're going to be looking for where it crosses the x-axis. So for instance here, that would be your x-intercept, okay? It's also called the zero. It can be the zero, it can be the solution, and it can be a root. For you guys, we're going to focus on the zero first. They like to use the word zero. So they like to interchange, just like they like to interchange rate of change and slope, they like to mix up x-intercept and zero. So they'll say, what are the zeros? They're just looking for the x-intercept, okay? So the y value is always the 0, and is always in this format. So if you're looking for the x-intercept, because we're going to find them on tables, you're going to have your number here, or right here, and then you're going to have your 0 here. So you can either put the x there if you want to. You can also change that to be a number, the number symbol. Your number's going to be there, and then the other one will be a 0. Okay, so if you're looking for the x-intercept, you're looking for the number that's paired up with the 0, but that number needs to be the first one, because we're going to do the same thing with the y, and it's the position that you're going to look for. So you could either put number 0, if you want to change it back to what it was, I had x0. They're both the same thing, okay? For the y-intercept, this is where the function crosses the y-axis. Okay, so this one here, this would be the y-intercept, right, where it's crossing the y-axis. Oh, this is supposed to be, and so on this one, the x value is always 0. So in this format, it would be 0 and the number, or we could also put 0y. All right, both of them, whichever one you prefer. All right, so if you notice, we're going to look for zeros for the intercepts, both x and y. It depends on where the 0 is when we identify which was which. So it says it's true for any function, not just lines. Whenever the function crosses the x-axis, it's called the x-intercept or the 0. When it crosses the y-axis, it's called the y-intercept. So we're going to get into exponential functions, and we're going to also get into quadratics. But these two vocab words will never change. The x-intercept or the 0 are the same. Y-intercept will always be the same as well. Okay? All right. So let's look at this one. It says determine intercepts from a table. To find an x-intercept, find the point in the table where the y value is 0. So find me where the y value is 0. So I'm going to circle this one, and I'm going to circle this one. All right. It says you may have to continue a pattern in the table to figure it out. But if they're both given, the answers are there. You just have to know which one. So when you're deciding, look, the number, is this number for the x or for the y? For the y, then that's your y-intercept. Your y-intercept, you're going to write, is 0, -4, because you have your y. Okay? Maybe don't do that. Don't do that. All right, let's do the x-intercept. So our x-intercept is going to be this one, because this one has the x value, right? That one had the y value, that one had the x value. All right, let's try the next one. Let's try to do the same thing on the next one. So on this one, find me the zeros. So what numbers are paired up with my zeros? 0, -3. What else? 12, 0. Look, we have -3. Is that with the x or the y? The y. So is that the x-intercept or the y-intercept? The y-intercept. So 0, -3. Then we have 12. Is that the x or the y? X. So once you've already chosen one, right, the other one can only be the other intercept that we're looking for. All right. When you're ready, we'll go over to the back side. So same thing here. I want you to find me the x and y intercept. But this one I'm throwing in what we have been doing, which is the slope. And just a reminder, when you find slopes, you want to find me good intersections to go from, okay? So let me give you a minute to do those two. This one was a little tricky, right? They picked this one, and if you notice, the x's are going by how many increments? They're going by 2, 2, 4, 6, 8. That means every jump over is going to be 2 units. If you look at your y's, they're going by how many? 4. So 4, 8. So every jump is going to be 4 units. Okay? Before I get to that, let's look at the x and y intercept. Where is it crossing the x-axis if it's right in the middle in between the -2 and the -4?
-3.
Y'all agree that one would be -3? Let me zoom in. Would that one be at the -3? All right, so then your x-intercept would be -3 and then 0. That would be your x-intercept. All right, so I'm going to write that down here. X is -3, 0. What about the y-intercept? Where is it hitting the y-axis? How do I write it as a point, though? 0, -4. Good. 0, -4. That would be the y-intercept. All right, and then our slope, I'm going to go up and I'm going to go over. I'm going to go up 1, 2, but technically each one was how much?
8.
We said it was 8. And then we're going to go over 3, but we said each one was 2. So 2, 4, 6. So should it be 8 over 6 or 6 over 8?
8 over 6.
8 over 6, positive or negative?
-6.
Negative, right? Because I went up positive 8, but I went to the left -6, right? So that's going to be a negative. All right, what did that reduce to? What did y'all get?
-4 over 3.
-4 over 3. Now, if that's tricky, right, which it can be, right, trying to remember what they all go by. If you can at least figure out your x and y intercept, like if those are obvious, we can always get around it using the slope formula, which is what I had on the warm-up. So what we could do is using these two, you can use these two to find slope, right? You can do 0 minus -4, and then you can do -3 minus 0. All right, when you enter it in the calculator, it gives you -4 over 3. So you could also do it using just the x and y intercept. So if the graph is too much, if you're like, Ms. Kranz, I don't understand like why it's jumping, just find the points. Find the points, do the slope. We can always go about it that way. We get it? All right. All right, let's go to the next one. All right, let's get the next one. Did y'all find the x and y intercept on this one?
Yes.
What was the y intercept? I'm gonna give Barbosa a break here. What's our y-intercept? Y-intercept. Brianna, I know you have it. What's the y-intercept? 0 and 15? All right, 0 and 15. And Emily, because you're her friend, I'm going to call you now. So what's the x-intercept? 3 and 0. She stops being your friend. I'm sorry. Just kidding. All right, and then the slope here. So with the slope here, you could find a pattern with the y's. So you can say, okay, so these are increasing or decreasing as I'm coming down. They're decreasing by how much? 5. So you can say, okay, this is -5. And these are coming down by how many? What am I doing? Adding 1. So you could do -5 over 1, which just happens to be -5. One way to figure out your slope, right? Slope, this is option 1. The other option is doing what I did earlier, and that's using these two intercepts. You can do 15 minus 0 over 0 minus 3. That'll get us 15 over -3, which also comes out to be -5. So you can do both ways. Most of my kids last year, they just went straight with the formula. Something they had already mastered, they're like, as long as I have 2 points, I can figure it out. And it doesn't have to be the x and y intercept. It can be any point. The only reason I used these two is because we had already found them. So we already had them listed. So there's no point in trying to relist something new if we already have information there. All right, let's do the last one. So the last one, it just says find the rate of change of 2 points. And we talked about this already. What does that rate of change mean? Slope. All right, so x1, y1, x2, y2. Gilbert, how would I fill this in, Gilbert? Gilbert. I said Gilbert. Gilberto. What would I put in? 10 minus -5. Marilena, since you want to tell me what are my x's? Minus -3. Good. Double negatives make that a positive, but y'all can just enter this all in the calculator. -5 as a final answer. Okay, so your slope is just going to be -5.